why continuing fountain of youth until such a marvelous show.
Good evening, and we begin tonight with a poem from F.J. Owens of Gracetown, Western Australia.
Oh, Tim, dear Tim, things look grim. Choice of programmes very slim. You've changed the time of weekend news and lumbered us with Hill Street blues. From your GP we all flee, consuming lengthy cups of tea. Your big gig is sheer disaster, makes us switch the set-off faster. With overseas sport we're overwrought. We wonder what our 8 cents bought. Thank God for 40 and the bill, and Magnus Clark gives us a thrill. Now Minder's gone, the nights are long. Your newer shows deserve the gong. Make haste to send our 8 cents back and give your programme manager the sack.
I wonder why we go on sometimes, or why we persist in this orgy of corporate masochism, and I mean with Backchat. F.J. Owens' doleful doggerel is a pointer to comments I'm about to relay on 2 new offerings, The Big Gig and GP. First to GP, and Angie Deeks of Runaway Bay, Queensland writes, she says, after her first appointment.
The only noteworthy part of this hour was that one of them said, it's a doctor's job to keep the patient amused while nature takes its course. Shame Auntie's GPs couldn't do their job. Do I have to complain to the AMA to get them struck off, or will you do the sensible thing? After sticking it out for an excruciatingly painful hour, I was then encouraged to tune in next week for another heart-rendering episode. The first appointment turned my heart to stone, and now Auntie has promised to render it as well.
Marion Holdsworth of Table Cape, Tasmania wants to know how she can become an actor in an ABC production.
I'm thinking of applying. Inexperienced as I am, I couldn't be worse than some of the characters in the premiere of GP. How on earth do they ever get past the audition tests? Please, how do you sign up? I could have a great career ahead of me.
John Royal of Bundanoon, New South Wales, was concise and brutal.
GP, ouch. Pathetic script, ham-acted, aimlessly directed, embarrassing to watch. All future appointments cancelled.
Beth Kane of Launceston, Tasmania, hopes that it's a mini-series and not a soap, as she fears, and the best I can do for the plus side of the mail is this brief comment by Minder Lover of Malua Bay. You nearly didn't make it to air, actually, as I generally hurl unsigned letters over my shoulder, but your address saved the day.
I don't mind the fact that we need a bit of Australian content. I do find GP quite watchable.
And I'm sure the producers and all concerned with GP will be delighted to hear that, Minder Lover of Malua Bay. Mind you, the ABC Switchboard report included a more positive instant reaction.
Well done.
Very good show.
Best I've seen for a long time.
Enjoyed every moment of it.
Fantastic.
Extra good.
First class.
Thank heavens for a lovely show.
On now to The Big Gig, and Michael King of Aranda, Canberra, begins mildly enough.
On the whole, the first episode of The Big Gig was okay. But jokes about 747 airline disasters less than a week after 2 Australians were killed in the United Airlines tragedy? A little more sensitivity is needed, please.
Murray Bassett of Lockleys, South Australia, was not impressed by Wendy Harmer's language.
After a few opening remarks, she made reference to another TV show called Blah 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 and asked her audience if anyone here had seen it. I strongly object to hearing such language emanating from my beloved Channel 2. I feel sure that Miss Harmer must have lots of lovely words up her comic sleeve which she could use to make us laugh without having to resort to the end products of bowel movements.
Ken and Leslie Northey of Aikenvale, Queensland, wrote that they believed the publicity and decided to watch The Big Gig.
Outraged is the only word we can think of to describe our feelings about the Doug Anthony All-Stars segment. As Christians, we found the commies for Christ extremely offensive. We deplore the ABC's lack of concern that allows a group to use their talent in such a destructive manner.
And in the fine tradition of Backchat's policy of allowing you to see something of what you might have complained about had you seen it, here's a quick burst from the Doug Anthony All-Stars.
Hurry, hurry, ha, hooray! I chant it every day with my virtue tucked proudly in my lap.
Goodness. And finally tonight, voila, as they say in Paris, France, no sooner do I muse publicly that I have not had a letter this year from occasional and improbably named correspondent Mavis Frizzletit of Arcadia Vale, New South Wales, than one lobs in, even before my previous comment had been to air. Mavis writes about flood tide and her deep distress when the character Ramsay was shot on the beach in the last episode.
I had a complete breakdown for at least 5 minutes. I have mourned Ramsay's loss until recently. There I sat watching Eden's Lost, when to my surprise and joy, there was Ramsay working in that hotel. Heavily disguised, I might add, but I would have known him anywhere. Thank you, ABC, for saving Ramsay's life. It was nice of you to find him a job. But beware, those bad men may still be after him.
Indeed, and thank you, Mavis. It was nice to finish on a positive note after the cutting comments earlier in the show. Good night.
Why continue to talk? You're such a marvelous show.